Welcome to Zanac Neo, presented by Compile. So, this is a game that I don't know, I really like how all Compile games share this gameplay ideology of power-up invincibility. Of where, you pick up a power-up and you're invincible for a good 2 seconds. In this one, it feels extremely egregious isn't the right word, but a very long, almost double what it normally is. I mean, that might not be true, but it feels that way. I really like that. It promotes point blanking, which I'm a huge fan of if you've seen any of my other videos, or know me outside of YouTube at all. But I'll explain a little bit for anybody that's new to this game. So this is Compile's first and last game. It's one half of Zanac X Zanac, or Zanac Cross Zanac, which came out in 2000, I believe. It is their last game they made before they went bankrupt. A very bittersweet moment for people like me that love Compile. Even before I got into shooters, I loved Compile because I was really large into JRPGs, and I know that they still exist in some form as Compile Heart, but it doesn't feel the same. In this, you get 7 sub-weapons, which all level up by picking up duplicates. They come out, I believe, in order. So, and then you'll get every 3 or 4, you'll get a random one, which is the green flashing one. What I'm trying to do pretty much this entire game is set up like a little roadmap of things that I can pick up, that stay on the screen, that I can pick up to use for the invincibility, because there is a lot of dodging in this game, but it is more so about setting up invincibility frames for yourself. One of my favorite ideas that they brought to the table in this game is almost like a hyper / bomb gauge, which is the gauge in the lower left. That feels like it adds so much, because there's 2 different levels to it. There's like a green level and then a red level. And the green level is like it halfway up. Red level launches a gigantic bomb, and you get some invincibility from the bomb as well. Not as much as you get by picking up power-ups, but it is very helpful. And also it has a third option too, which a lot of people don't realize, and that is as a hyper. So you can hold down the button, and instead of launching it, it'll like come out, and then you'll suck it back in, and that will give you a lot of frames of invincibility. And it will also level up your weapons to as strong as they can get for a short period of time, pretty much for as long as the bar lasts. So depending on the weapon you have, depends on how much you can power it up. Some weapons are 2 or 3, some are 4 and 5. I believe that it has to do with the level you're on, possibly. It's what it seems like sometimes, because sometimes I'll look up and it'll say max level, and then the next level it'll allow me to go up an extra level. Another thing that I find is really funny is if you look on Restart Syndrome, no one plays with this ship. And one of the reasons I picked Scarface, other than it has a female piloting, and I really think that that's cool, is that just no one ever plays with her. I get why now, because the other ships are better, but I wanted to post a score, even though my score is not great in this. It is a decent survival score. I wanted to post one as this ship, add it to the Restart Syndrome lot. Sorry I haven't posted since Grand Cross renovation, but I had just been really ill lately. I know there's a lot of crap going around in my house. I have 4 children, so we seem to stay sick almost constantly, it seems. I know there's not really a lot to talk about in this game in most circumstances. So I'll try to fill the air as best I can, because you do have a lot of variety in enemies, but a lot of the stages are, because it's normal compile bosses of, you know, big installation that needs to be taken down piece by piece, which I really do like. I don't want all my bosses to be that, and I do like that there's some mech bosses, and the last couple bosses, the boss rush are really good. So yeah. I really like even though there's a ton of enemy variety and there's not a whole lot of boss variety, I do really like the variety in the stages, though. There are a couple of stages that have really awful bullet visibility. Like the cloud stage is one of them. It's, I think, either the third or fourth stage. But yeah, they are just really pretty. I really like the pixel art in this. It's kind of what I want from a lot of newer shmups. I'm kind of tired of the NES thing that we had going on for a while, where everyone wanted to look like a Nintendo game. And I'm really liking the newer PlayStation, Sega Saturn kind of look, and I feel like this strikes a really great balance between that. Somebody had asked me a couple days ago, during the whole Raiden Fighters debacle, to do a review of Raiden Fighters on my channel, and I thought about it for a little bit. I guess they wanted a review of the Raiden Fighters collection. I thought about it for a little bit. I made a short video and a couple Reddit posts about it, expressing my extreme disappointment in how that compilation was handled. And I don't know, it takes a minute making these videos. I'm very new to video editing. I'm very new to audio recording in this way. I mean, I used to be in a band and everything, so I have produced before. So like, it takes longer. And so anything I'm doing like this, I want to do something I love. I don't want to have to play a game that I hate just to give a review for it. So that's how I feel about that, and I'm sorry to make that man upset, but that kind of goes into a bigger deal that I would like to talk about my channel. So when I told my son that I was going to start doing regular videos on this channel, especially over games that I love, he was like, you know, Dad, you can do this and this and that, and you'll make money this way. I'm like, son, this isn't about making money. This is about doing something I enjoy. I want to make videos because I want to talk about these things. This is my favorite thing. This ignited my love for video games. These games that you are on the screen right now ignited my love for video gaming again, that I had almost lost last year. And I want to nerd out about them. I want to find other people to nerd out with them with. And so you can consider my YouTube channel almost a video diary of things that I want to do, accomplishments, things that I want to talk about, you know, and coming to the upcoming podcast, which I still am working on. That's going to include that as well. You know, I want people to be able to look at my channel after I pass away and be like, and have no ifs, ands, or buts about the kind of media that I liked. And I know this goes into another issue that I wanted to talk about. And I talked to Spiders about it because we were talking about it was Hidden Fortress's last video and some things that I love. The one that he last posted, where he was very happy, and very happy for him. I mean, extremely happy for him. about getting someone he cares about in his life, and it kind of opening up his eyes again. But he had mentioned something. Oh, no, it was his. It wasn't that video. It was the video he did before then, the Batsugan video, where he had talked about that he hated, or not hated, but that he always had to take steps away from online, and that he would prefer it to be in person. You know, that we all lived around the corner from each other, and that we all, you know, could go to an arcade and just chill and make fun of each other and, you know, back each other up on high scores and just kind of be there. And, you know, I really do feel him on that. I just joined Twitter not too long ago, and man, 90% of the people on there are super poisonous. My wife talks to me all the time about, why did you join Twitter? And I'm like, honestly, to keep in touch with the Japanese community, because that's where they all are. They're not on Blue Sky. They're not anywhere else. They're all on Twitter. And the sad thing is that arcades are toast. They're, you know, unless a miracle happens, they're not coming back. And our communities, our arcades, our way of chilling out and backing each other up and making fun of each other is the online communities that we have. And that's why we really have to take care of them, and we really have to, you know, be focused on our own, on taking care of the people already in the community. That really stuck with me, because I would love to hang out with all of you guys and be able to, you know, be in person, because I hate talking on the phone. I hate texting. I hate all of that. I would much rather, you know, be face to face with someone when I communicate with them, but it's just not how it is anymore. And I want to be able to, you know, cultivate what we have. I almost wish that there was like some kind of, like, not necessarily VR, but some kind of thing like that we could get on, and it could be a arcade we walk around in and could, you know, have our little avatars and stuff, because that's the only way that I could see something like that actually working. But I totally get having to take a step away from online. There's my first death, and whenever you take your first death, it is extremely easy to chain death in this. Extremely easy, because you level all the way down, your sub-weapon levels all the way down, and if you die in the wrong place, that's it. You might have 17 lives, or, you know, whatever by the end of it, but that's it. You know, it's just bam, 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 over again. I mean, it's not as egregious as, like, Gradius, but it's fairly close. And this is such a marathon of the game that it is so easy just to be tired by the end of it. One thing that I do love, and I'll bring this up really quickly, is that when you die, the only weapons that level down are your shot and the sub-weapon that you are currently equipped with. So that means that you get to keep the levels on all of the other weapons that you got to keep. So that's why it's super important when you're playing this to make sure you're leveling up those other weapons. I know it is very easy to try to stick with something you like, and especially in games like this where you might have 4 weapons that you never use. I never use 0 or 2 because I just don't like them at all. And especially when I think the only ones that all 3 share are the are 0 and 3, I think, and 2. 0, 3, and 2 are the only ones that are shared across all 3, and the other ones are unique, which I really like. This is the sky stage. The visibility in this, because this is the one I was talking about with the visibility, and it is truly rough. This has got a good OST. It can be a little spotty very housey, very dancey, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, it's not my cup of tea. I do like my fair share of electronic music. Right there, if power-up invincibility didn't exist in this game, then I would have been toast. And also the fairy that's next to me is a way of taking a hit and not dying. She'll kind of take the hit for you. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was, and it has to do with riding fighters as well. It's funny, I'm talking about riding fighters more than I'm talking about the game that we're playing. But I was talking to a lot of Japanese players, and the way that their community, or at least from what I've seen, I don't want to call out a community as a whole, but from the Twitter Japanese community that I saw, is that it was a very, very rare to find someone speaking out about that game. Oh, and those that did speak out were like, oh yeah, I'll just deal with it. I remember talking to this Japanese player, God rest his soul. He's really awesome dude. God rest his soul, like he's dead. No, God bless him is what I mean. But he was telling me that he brought up a lot of the things that the American community brought up, that we had all talked about, that we had all dealt with. And he was told by multiple players that, oh, well, if you don't like it, just play the PCB. We're lucky enough to get something like this as is. And that is really what brought me to making that first post about we don't deserve bad releases. Oh yeah, if you can kill all 4 spots on that boss before he switches to another side, it's an instant kill on him. So that's why saving up a nice big red bomb is nice. So, anyways, back to what I was talking about. That struck such a chord with me that's when I made that post about we shouldn't settle for bad releases, because there was something that kind of flipped in me whenever he told me that multiple people had talked to him about that, or had told him to do that. That I was like, man, the elitism in that is super messed up. And I'm one of the people that believes we should gatekeep our community. But that is something completely different. Then, especially with that second part of that we're lucky enough to be getting these releases in the first place, we shouldn't complain, is such a toxic way of thinking about that. It's such a fucked up way of thinking about that I can't even wrap my brain around thinking about that. As consumers, we vote with our wallets. No one is going to do anything in our best behalf. Every company in a capitalist society is out there to make money and doesn't care about your well-being at all. You vote with your wallet. And trust me, if there was a way that, before we got that they were going to update it, that they were looking into the problem, if there was a way I could have figured out a way of refunding it, oh, I would have in a second. But PlayStation doesn't allow refunds. I don't think the Switch does either. I feel bad for the people that bought the Zero Lux brought up this in a really great, there was just a really good comment where he was saying that if you, God forbid, the servers ever go offline, whatever, that the people that have the physical release are fucked. They're not going to get that update unless they go back and redo the disc and everything else, which I don't believe that they would. With how they've treated the game so far, I don't really agree that they would. That they have treated it like, okay, let's spend 2 years working on the remixes and 2 months working on the game so we can shit it out. And then everybody can eat it up, and it can sit on a shelf somewhere, and you can listen to the music and never play the game, because who plays these old games is how... Let me tell you right now, that's how 90% of these people think. That's how 90% of these people think. So right here, picking up anything that's at max is going to give you score. It's not going to level up your thing anymore. So that big energy ball to the left, that is going to... I don't think it damages enemies. It might. Oh, it does damage small enemies. But it does not damage large, like, boss enemies. But it does clear all bullets. It is super easy to get extends in this game. If you notice, I went from, like, 9 before I started talking to 15. They are consistently... I'm not sure how often they are given. I didn't really route this game or anything, which I'm just now getting into routing. The little guy that I just hit that gave me an ultra wide shot, that's like a little happy face, like little Gradius looking guy. And he will give you an ultra wide shot, but he's hidden on every stage. So these guys, they're in every compile game, and I cannot stand them because I'm almost consistently looking at people in front of me, trying to look at bullets in front of me, and these guys like sneak up on me. These guys that come from the ground, oh man, I cannot stand them. They'll do that. They'll close in on you vertically and then start coming in on you horizontally. I should have picked up that 0. I should have picked up that 0 and rode the invincibility. I hate that shot so much. There's a combo meter in this game. Very similar to like Dodonpachi. You can see it in the upper left. And it is going to be how you're going to get a 90% of your score. 18 hit, 19 hit. Yeah, so you can close it out, and then you can get multipliers depending on if you, like, blow up enemies with your big bombs, like ×2, ×3, and that'll kind of go towards that. That's how you can get people with 3 times the amount of score that I got. When it comes to ships, this is Scarface. She is, from what I've seen, never on any high score boards. Ever. It's always Knife's Edge and Hammerduke. Knife's Edge is the more nimble one. At least in my opinion, I always consider her to be the one that is more focused on like almost like a rushdown character in a fighting game. Hammerduke is slower and has a lot more like crazy weapons. There are certain weapons I do really like with Scarface, though, like that spinny thing that comes out, the number 4, is great because you can just throw it out and it'll hit any enemies that are in that area while you shoot enemies everywhere else. So it can kind of give you like covering fire. That bomb's really nice too. I think that's I consider God, I can't talk today. I consider Scarface a fire and forget kind of character. You know, just off the top of my head, I wonder when Celeste is going to come out. If it even ever is going to come out. It's supposed to come out sometime last year. And I know that it's kind of a co-development between M2 and Compile Heart. And I have the best of hope when it comes to M2 side, not necessarily the best of hope when it comes to Compile Heart side. Their stuff is consistently, it's the best it can be, but I played a lot of their RPGs, and they can be a little rough around the edges, but with a lot of heart. So I do try to keep an open mind. But I kind of feel like it's Ubutsuna, that it might come out whenever I'm about 65. If it ever even comes out, anyways. It reminds me a lot of whenever I was younger. Duke Nukem Forever was the game that was always really popular for the whole idea of vaporware, something that you know, is saying they're working on it and never comes out. This guy's got a really annoying part to him, and I want to try another run again after this one of taking out that big ball, because it will become, yep, just like it hit me right there. I was trying to take it out. It will become vulnerable. Like I just killed it right there after taking 2 damn deaths back to back. This is one of my favorite bosses, though, just because of how challenging he is. I got like one of my least favorite weapons on, although that weapon does come in handy later on in the run. I think it's the weapon that I defeat the final boss with. Area clear. I think there's 9 areas in total, so halfway there, guys. Yeah. You are a trooper if you make it through all this video. By the way, I just want to let you know I will never not appreciate people watching me. You know, I make these for the hope that people will watch them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I do want to share my love for things, but I'm not making them for anyone other than myself. So, hey man, if you stick the whole hour and 9 minutes, you're a fucking trooper. You're a fucking trooper. This is... So, okay. We'll go into a little bit of history. Zanac is, at least from what I've heard, I might be wrong, one of, if not the first games that had adaptable rank. What we call rank settings now. Like what Battle Gurega is famous for. So, the original Famicom disc release of it was called Zanac AI because it was very advertised. And so this has the same kind of idea where, depending on how many lives you have, depending on the strength of your shot, depending on the strength of your sub-weapon, the AI will kind of ratchet itself up. And it is some of the most aggressive AI I've ever dealt with in shooting games. I don't know if you saw that last level, but they come at you everywhere. And there's no real way, at least in my knowledge, to kind of game it. I mean, there is. You could probably take a bunch of suicides, but it gets insane. And if you aren't taking advantage of the power-up invincibility, there is no way that you can dodge what they are throwing at you. I mean, I say that, but of course there's always a way. I'm sure, you know, somebody like Jamers could come in here and dodge it without, you know, without thinking. But not someone like me, not a, you know, intermediate player like myself, which one thing I am very happy about is how quickly I've increased my skill. And those little like shells that fall off some enemies are the bane of my fucking existence, because they are so hard to see. They are so hard to see. I tell you what, man, there's nothing like the feeling of jumping into a huge group of dudes like that, grabbing that power up and just fucking them up. It feels so good. So nice. There are certain sub-weapons in here, like 6. The one that spins around that will destroy bullets. Those get really helpful. I know that I was talking to Octane, and he was saying that he cleared Sentinel Est, and he was using the yellow ship, the one with the spinny balls on it. I know that's a very popular in all compile. That's in all compile games. That kind of sub-weapon of the spinny balls that protect you. I know that was in GG Alest. I know originally, take this with a grain of salt. This is all stuff that I read on Shmupulations and from talking to people. But that's why Aleste became a thing, is because it was very similar to like what BlazBlue is to Guilty Gear, where they lost the rights to the Zanac name for a little while and had to call their games that they wanted to do in a very similar style something different because of copyright. And so that's where the Aleste series is a shoot-off of the Zanac series. I cannot, rewatching that, it just viscerally, just the visceral emotion that just came from me after looking at that bullet and being like, you know what, I want that fucking bullet in my face. Wow. Can you tell I'm new at this? This is crazy, man. Crazy. So, I hope that for the listeners out there, this video sounds better than my last videos because I bought a new mic and headphones. So, the Audio-Technica mic that I'm going out of right now is a dynamic mic. I live with 6 people, 4 children and a wife, and so it was picking up everything, and in my opinion, kind of sounded like shit, no matter how much I compressed it or mixed it or anything else. So I'm hoping that whenever I go to mix this, it sounds a lot better, at least from preliminary tests, it does. So I'm very happy with it so far, and I hope that you are as well. I hope that it has some nice quality to it and that it'll sound a lot better than my older videos. I already have 2 more clears in the bag. One is a high score clear for Blaze's Storm. I'm currently number 7 on the leaderboards of the online ranking leaderboards for it, so I'm proud to be sharing that one. I think I can do a little bit better. But yeah, so I'm going to be using that for this one and going forward for the podcast and everything. So I would really like to go back to Blaze's Storm and try an expert mode clear. I believe that I can get a lot more than what I have now. So I would like to do that at some point. I also really would like to record a Rebel Gear clear for the second loop. I believe that I can do really good in that as well. That's just a wonderful game. Although I do prefer vertical shooters over horizontal shooters. I couldn't really tell you why. It's just like a kind of a feeling that I have where I just enjoy vertical shooters better. I don't know what it is. Couldn't tell you what it is. I have more fun with them. I believe dodging feels better. The only game that I've ever felt, or one of the few horizontal shooters that I felt does dodging really well, is Battle Traverse. I feel like Battle Traverse is so close to hitting that dodging feels great no matter what you're in, no matter if it's horizontal or vertical. So I would also like to do a clear of that. And another rant I would like to go on real quick is I think that, and I get why Rebel Gear and Blaze's Storm don't have them, because they're single dev. They're single dev games. Yeah, I get that. But it is 2026. You should have a way of recording a replay without having to use Steam's freaking record function. I honestly believe that. I honestly think that it is criminal that a lot of the releases we get nowadays don't have any way of doing a record on them. And I'm not talking about like, oh, record it and I'll do it live. But, like, no, record it, register it, and then let me look back on it. As I know that makes it so easy to do clears. Like, thinking about, off the top of my head, any Cave re-release, Mushihime-sama, Futari by M2 on the Xbox, all have record clears. Shit, even M2's Sinjin Lest has a replay function. You know, so I think it is crazy not to have that on a game nowadays. And I'm not a game developer. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's easy to do these things, because I know that making any kind of art is not easy. I've done music since I was 15 years old. I know that it's not, easy to write songs and do all these other things. So I can only imagine developing code and, then marketing your game and all this other crap. That's don't misunderstand me. That is not what I'm saying. I just think that as a feature-wise, that is something that every single STG would benefit from, is a replay function. So the game kind of hasn't let up for a while. Luckily, I just died, so the AI kind of takes it easy on me for a second. I've also noticed, just from run to run, this is kind of a hard game to route, because it's so malleable. It's kind of a little bit like Gurega or Batrider in that aspect of like, oh, well, we can't really do a practice thing on here because it's going to be different every time, of like what enemies are going to show up, what bullets are going to come out. And I know that the enemy placements, like the default enemy placements, are the same. It just really depends on the amount and what they shoot at you changes. I know there are some sections with the little guys that like just kind of appear out of nowhere, where if you're on like a super high rank, it will spawn more of them, or they'll have more HP, things like that. Those guys are a pain in the ass because their bullets, I kind of forget about them. The purple bullets on that. I also apologize for how my voice sounds right now. I'm not meaning to sound so deep, although I do like the sound of my deep voice. Like I said earlier when I first started this, I kind of have just been fighting illness just randomly for like the last month, it seems like. I remember talking to Hidden Fortress last time we talked about a month ago, and I was telling him that I just got unsick then, and so yeah, I sadly missed out on a lot of points from that guy because you can destroy that other part, his other arm. The levels to me don't really make much sense in this. Maybe somebody that's played the original can tell me if there's any overlap, but like that one level, like 2 levels ago, didn't even have a boss. It was literally like 30 seconds long. And then some of these levels seem to have like 5 bosses in them. There was at one point when I played the game, when I first started playing about a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago, where I thought this was the last level. And then I watched a clear of somebody doing, a survival clear of this. And I was like, oh my god, there's still like, I don't know, fucking 20 minutes left? Holy shit. And so that kind of blew my mind. I was like, okay, I gotta get a little bit better before I come back to this one. Man, the dance in this. I know Hidden Fortress had said that one thing he really likes watching is high drama clears. And let me tell you, man, this is one of the highest drama clears I've ever done in my life. Pulled it out of my ass. Straight up. You know, I got 17 lives right now. Let's just see what I have left by the end of this. You know, stay tuned on that shit. Because let me tell you, they start just leaking out of me at one point. I would also like to start doing edited videos as well. I have some ideas for some nice editing videos I want to do. I would like to get a better camera, but it's not something I necessarily need to make it happen. I know the shitty aesthetic of crappy quality would kind of, I'd be like, yeah, that's totally purposeful. Totally mean for it to look like ass. So I can attempt that. Oh, so spooky. Wait, psych. You thought I was going to keep going on, huh? Like I'd said earlier, I would really like to come back to this in about a month or so and try to do a Knife's Edge clear. I've never really played Hammerduke as much, especially with how much you have to move in this game. I felt like he was a little slow for me, just based on how mobile you have to be at any one point. I'm sure you could probably, you know, the power-ups remind me a little bit of what Rising did with Tsukio Gurentai, where those power-up guys are kind of like consistently coming on the screen. So, you know, I don't know if those are routable or not. Like I said, I haven't really studied this game so much. Sorry for the noise in the background. My phone keeps going off. It's really awful timing. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, this is where you start seeing a lot of repeat, like stronger versions of bosses. One of my favorite things about this hobby, and you know, tell me in the comments if you guys agree, and it can kind of be frustrating at the same point, is the mystique of these games. You know, a lot of people would consider these games to be, you know, pointless or quarter munchers or whatever, but I know when I was playing Grand Cross Renovation, for example, there's so little information, like no information in English really, and even less, or not even less, but you know, very little information in Japanese, I mean, and even less in English. And there's like a certain enigmatic presence about these games that I really fuck with hard, of like, oh no, figure it out on your own. I love this idea of like being a kid again, and games having mystery to them. I love that idea. The childlike glee I get from being able to do that again, from being able to experience that again, is so nice. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where you think you'll never experience that again, that was just your stupid, dumb kid brain. But no, it's not. They exist in this game. Or in these games. Oh, man. I was so nervous by this point. I'm not going to lie. That's why I keep making stupid mistakes. Because at this point, during this recording, I had never made it this far in this. This is the first time fighting a lot of these bosses for me. And so I had this real nerve-wracking feeling of, am I going to be able to do this? And I did, barely, but I did. That stupid fucking force ball. Just ramming me straight in the face. I don't think I defeated him. I think that was a runaway. That was counted as a runaway. Spent too much time on the ball. Spent too much time on the ball. I'm really trying to get some upgrades here. Since I died so many times. I'm trying to upgrade my weapons again. There's a lot of games that I would love to clear and post videos on, but I feel a sense of like I'm not good enough yet to do them. I've been working with Dodonpachi a lot lately because I know Mark had said something that he really likes recommending that game because it'll teach you a lot of things on how to do bullet hell shmups, pretty much how to play shmups, and I like that idea, especially with like trying to play DOJ like I've been doing. It would be a lot easier if I could do it after focusing on beating the first one. And so yeah, Dodonpachi, I've been doing a lot of save state practice on that one, which like I'd said, I just started doing save state practice. It was something that I felt like I didn't need until recently. That if I couldn't do it, just learning how to credit feed, or not necessarily credit feeding, but like, you know, sitting down and going through one credit at a time, or like just seeing if, oh, I got a 2cc, which means I can get a 1cc. A lot of these games are so hard, you know, and demand so much from you that you know, especially when you have a job or you have other responsibilities, it's nice to be able to, you know, just jump straight to the part you're having issues with. You know, I'm not always having issues with stages 1 through 3. You know, maybe I'm having issues with the boss on 4. Well, you know, it's 17 minutes if I want to jump into that, so save state practice really does help. And I would recommend everybody read an old a booklet that can be found online called the full extent of the jam. It'll really teach you a lot about what recommended practices you should be doing. These fucking octopus guys suck. Like, I don't really know of any other way to say it. They're not always active. Like, if you notice, they'll run straight into me. They like will slow me down. And then sometimes when you run into them, they'll just kill you. And so I'm not really sure when that decision is a thing. If it's just like, oh, they become active after the first time they fire, or maybe, you know, once they touch your ship once or something. But it is super annoying and made me super pissy because I felt like I was doing so good here, and then I got killed like 5 times by those fucking octopus assholes. And especially with the way that I'd never seen this far before, I had no clue who these bosses were. I had no tactic other than just speed killing and trying to get as many parts as I can. And so for me, it was really about like, okay, you know, I've done my time, I've done my what little scoring I know and tried to do. So now it's time to just fucking survive. And they're also not giving you a ton of power-ups by this point, after they kind of showered them with you pre-boss rush. Now, this is when I started realizing the power of an upgraded zero shot. Is because if you get right up on these fools and just unload on them with the zero shot, man, it is powerful. And I don't know why I stuck with that one shot so much. I think it's because I was trying to level it up like stupidly, because I could tell you that I probably would have died half as few times if I just not tried to force the issue. Final area, core of the system. This is a good 15, maybe 12 minute level, and it does not take it easy on you. It's going to throw everything it's got. Now, if I can just make my way up to that stupid ferry up there. Come on, get the ferry, Sam. There we go. Sorry, I didn't want to waste a shot on getting hit trying to get up to the ferry, or getting the ferry and then getting hit. Alright, come on, come on. Why am I cheering myself on? I know I make it. You know? Oh, come on, man, you can do this. Like, obviously. Yeah, my bad. Still getting used to recording myself. Yeah, they're going to throw every enemy type they can at you. One thing that I do really like is, you know, when we talk about the mechanics in this game, is the fact that even after you've powered up all the way, you still get invincibility from the little yellow pods that you pick up, power-ups. So that's really nice. I like that. I miss games having power-up invincibility. I think that's why I fucked with Blaze of Storm as hard as I do, is because it reminds me a lot of like a really excellent compile game. And a lot of his do. I know he did like the Dancer games there for a little while, which were his take on a lock-on based Rayforce type game. I really enjoyed those, especially Moon Dancer. Really, like, I think if I had to pick one, that would be my favorite. Yeah, back to square one. So the white shots can be destroyed, nothing else can. I do like the I call it the Escalada shot, number 7 that you get, where you can kind of throw it based on how you're moving at the moment. I started doing quite rough here, I'm not gonna lie. It's somewhat hard to watch, because playing it, you're like, oh, I'm fighting for my life, and then when you watch it over, you're like, why did I do that stupid decision right there? Why did I make that stupid decision? Usually I like to come in knowing the story of a shmup, because I'm one of the few guys that actually likes shmup stories. But this one, I couldn't tell you what's happening in it. All I know is the pilots' names, and you know, everything's in Japanese on this release, so I couldn't tell you. I know that, strangely, I didn't really fuck with Battle Garega until I knew the story of Battle Garega, and then like there was something about the indomitable spirit of the human will. You know, kind of like Gurren Lagann kind of shit, that I was like, okay, and then I gave it more of a chance. I know that going into Batrider, it kind of wears its story on its sleeve, and I really like that kind of like Suicide Squad but good kind of aspect to it. And especially reading the manual and stuff on shmupulations. That was really nice. I'm pretty sure this is just your normal alien invasion kind of R-type kind of shit. Sorry, I had to do my Hidden Fortress sip. I can't tell you how many times I giggled watching that video of every time he took a fucking coffee sip. And it was just like, yeah, make that as as loud as possible. Get the mic just a little bit closer to your face next time you take that coffee sip, bro. Why don't you just put the mic next to your stomach so we can hear what you ate, too? I don't know. I'm just fucking with you, man. I'm just fucking with you. I've really enjoyed your videos lately. Just remember that you should never do anything that you don't love, that you don't want to do. That this channel, your channel is yours, and don't let everybody, if you wanted to turn your channel into a movie review channel, you know, none of us expect anything from each other than just being there as friends. At least that's what I expect. You know, I'm not in it because of the games we play. I'm in it because of the people. You know, like I would still play shmups even if I was surrounded by shitty people. But the reason I'm in the community is because there's some good fucking people in our community. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm pretty sure I lose like 6 lives to these guys, because I really try to force the issue of point blanking them when I should be keeping my space from them. And I should be using the power-ups to do invincibility and then point blanking them. You can't destroy the blue ones. You can destroy the little tiny shots, but you can't destroy the blue ones. There we go. Fuck them up. And there's 3 lives down right there. God, the graphics are so beautiful. This PlayStation, like, Saturn aesthetic of 2D sprites with 3D models. And it's so pretty. And man, I really can't tell you how happy it makes me that developers finally trying to figure out that how to do it. Getting there, almost there, man. Come on. This part, I think my wife was making dinner at this point, and I was just like, I'm gonna have to go downstairs after this and be like, hey baby, you know, the last hour I've been playing, it was for nothing. And I was not gonna let that happen. I was not gonna let that happen. I was gonna figure out a way to get through this shit. I didn't care if it took all my lives, man, which is exactly what it did. I think I clear this with 1 life left, which to me is just really hanging on by the seat of my pants. I decided to hyper right there so I could fight back against his shots, because all their shots were destructible. There you go. What hit me there? Man, you tell me. You tell me. Because, oh, I see it now. He throws it out like they're using their sub-weapons against you. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I guess he like fucking wanted that that to me. You know, he like straight Angelina Jolied my ass. I, for some reason, could not figure this final boss out. And going back through it, I'm like, man, it's so obvious. Stop taking out the side dudes. And focus on the head. Or no, this is the brain part. So, yeah, this was like, I don't know, my stupid idiot ass was like, could not figure out that I couldn't bust through the middle. That no matter how much I took on, and you are timed on a lot of these bosses, not this one, but you are timed on a lot of them. So those turrets will keep coming back. What you're supposed to do is destroy the brains on the side, And then once you kill all the brains, the middle part will open. And it took me too long to figure that out. Sam, you'll figure it out sooner or later. Alright, there we go. No. I was just done with it. By that point, that's why I just went and sat on top of the boss. I was just like, yeah, fucking take this, dude. Done with your ass. And now we got like the mother of the galaxy or whatever right here. And the only reason I survived that laser attack was because I pulled it in for a hyper. Like I did it literally right on time. And now here's me thinking that my 2 will stop those laser shots. And I think you have to kill, yeah, you have to kill enough of those and then it'll spawn the head again. The little crystal in the middle of the head. Get him. And this is when I started to get really worried that I was not going to clear this fucking game. 5 lives left. Watching this is like my asshole is clenched. I am like, oh my god, am I gonna do it? Am I actually gonna do it? Alright, so now he's dead, and you gotta take out these little fucking assholes that are making it impossible to do anything. At this point, I was just like, oh my god, please, please, please. That's how I felt during this part. 3 lives now. Yeah, all my shit is powered down. I'm using a shot that just doesn't agree with me. This guy's behind me and all over the place, and when that happened, I collapsed on the back of the bed and was like, I can't believe that shit. I cannot believe that shit. I cleared with 1 life. I didn't even care about the score at that point. I'm the savior of the earth. Yay! Everybody clap. Everybody that's still with me after an hour and 3 minutes, clap. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. There's my little pilot, my little girl pilot. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. This Zanac Neo clear with Scarface, the worst ship in the game. I will be coming back to this. This game is a blast. I just play it for fun. So, which is really stupid, dumb doo-doo brain thing to say. I wouldn't do any of these if I wasn't having fun. So let me take that back. But I know some people in our community do clears because they're easier or you know, because they want to get added to their list. I'm not doing something unless I'm having fun. And that's how I feel. No matter if it's easy, no matter if it's hard, no matter if it's anything else. Easy modes are definitely something I would love to bring up in the next video, but you'll have to stay tuned for that. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here, and you guys enjoy the next 1 minute of music. Have a good night, guys.